Hey y'all, what's good? This is Reggie P coming up on I Only Touch Greatness podcast.
How did you first meet Game?
Game saw me at about. Game came radio station at 107.9. I was about to do a battle. The thing I was telling you about Battle Rap Fridays, you come up there live and you battle a guy on the radio station live, like over beat, like kind of like on some 8 Mile shit at that time.
Yeah.
And but it was dope. And we had millions of listeners every weekend. And ain't no telling what celebrity was coming through because we at the radio station. You know what I mean? And just so happened this time Game was there promoting was it
Black Wallstreet Journal?
Doctor's Advocate. And they was like, yo, it ain't gonna be no battle today because we got Game up here. They was like, see Reggie in here. And I came in there, Juice was up there, and he was kicking a free. And they was like, yeah, this is our freestyle champ right here, you know. Let him get a few lines in, you know what I mean? And they gave me just a shot to rap, man. Of course, I had a bag on me because I thought I was gonna battle that day anyway. And I blew him away, man. Needless to say, I started going off like early. And
so I was celebrating right there just because you dropped it right on to next Tuesday's guest is I got Juice, Richie Evans coming on.
Okay.
Do you have any kind of story about him or a good story or something something I could bring up?
Me and Juice was most definitely cool, and we moved together a lot, you know what I mean, during the tour. You know what I mean? One thing I can say about Juice is we in the studio, Game used to be very, very particular on the things that we would record. You know what I mean? And I just remember being in there trying to write my raps before he got in there so he wouldn't critique nothing so I can get it down, having Juice in the studio, getting his rhymes right over and over and over again, just like that's what I remember. Like, so Juice is like a clack at the time being signed and being that young. He was like one of my first peers, one of my first classmates to that I was side by side with getting developed as a peer. You know what I mean? So if you bring up anything about how when we was in the studio, basically going through that drill, you know what I mean, to get records right and get them sounding right and your breath control and you know what I mean, just how you attack the track. You know, we was like in real school back then. Juice was a cool guy, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, them was so dope times right there, man. We worked hard out there, man. We promoted that Doctor's Advocate, man. I went to probably every city on the West Coast. I went overseas and rapped everywhere. I remember just that being a crazy summer and fall.
Because that was right around the whole One Blood music video as well.
Right.
Yeah, I know around there. So me and you have a story together, which I had to get into this one because it's all around the same time of this Black Wallstreet era. I'm consider myself good friends with your boy. He was also on Black Wallstreet at the time.
Yeah.
Shouts out to him, great guy. But that wasn't where I was going. But me and you, Game came to Canada, and it was a cross Canada tour. I believe that was his last time in Canada, or at least Vancouver.
Right.
You were on the way to join him at this tour, and you had to cross the Canadian border.
Right.
And I don't know what happened on your end, but I got I'm on the way to work 5:30 in the morning, and I get the call from the border security. Right. And they're like, do I know you as your real name? And what are you doing in town? And what is this guy coming to town for? And I told him, oh, he's part of Games doing big, and he's coming to town. He's part of the crew. He's coming to town. And I had just happened to be talking to you, and boom, somehow I got the phone call, which is pretty cool. I never forget that story, and that's what made me come and find you when I remembered that story a couple weeks ago.
And that's so crazy, man, because I was coming over there. I did everything right. but I think they gave me a ticket that was going to Edmonton, and I was supposed to have been coming to BC.
Yeah.
And something got mixed up. Now I'm at the thing all lost, looking lost, acting lost, asking everybody questions with this bag, looking like a rapper. So they came to me, snatched my bag. They went out through it. They went through the whole protocol, man. And I remember I had a little something in there, but they didn't get it. And I was a bit worried, but hey, man, I was so cool. But it wasn't enough for them to garner any attention. So they put everything back up in the bag, and they let me across and let me go. And damn, DJ Chris Styles, who I end up meeting and getting to the hotel or whatever. But yeah, it was a little riffraff, and they did make sure they got everything validated before they let me through to Canada. But what was so crazy, Game never made it to Canada. So
that's what happened.
I went through all that Mission Impossible to get through the border, and he didn't even make it himself. So
yes,
that was the thing. Yeah, I remember that. But that was like my first time. That was my first time in Canada. I tell you one thing in there, man, I'll never forget. I went to the store in Canada, like grocery store, and they had the magazines there with me and the source with the biggie cover source with me in it. And I remember showing the girl at the clerk at the register, like, yo, you need to let me take this because I'm in this magazine, you know. And she's all like, nigga, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I flipped straight to it, like, who's that then? And she was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? She let me get it. And I was crazy. I went to the airport. The magazine was there. I looked in that magazine to see you know what I mean? I just feel like that was a crazy time to be in that publication at that time. And that magazine was everywhere. It just made me feel like, yo, I definitely done took that step up. You know what I mean? So it's just a crazy time and a crazy moment for an artist that had done so much work at the time on his own before he could garner that kind of, you know what I mean, attention or connect with that kind of artist at that period of time. I just remember that. That was a good feeling for me.
Was that the Unsigned Hype though?
It was something like Unsigned Hype, but they called the article Off the Radar. They called the segment Off the Radar. Okay. Yeah, and
I remember that.
That. Yeah, that was nuts trying to figure out that. I've always wondered what happened on that story with me and you because we never really had a chance to get too much to talking after that. I don't know what happened, but I thought it was the other way around. The Game made it across the border, and you didn't make it across the border.
Yeah, we made it. We made it. Me and Chris Styles, DJ Chris Styles, and me, we made it over there. It was Game that started to have some trouble. Yeah, because we never made it. The show never happened. We didn't make it. I ended up coming back.
He's still never made it. He hasn't been here then since before that. Wow. He's not allowed here in Canada or Vancouver. Just that. I don't know.
Wow.